What's going on, hockey fans? Well, I think we all probably heard the news. Winter Classic has been canceled, and this blows. This truly blows, man. This whole lockout and drama. So many things I want to see for this year. I mean, there's a ton of storylines and things that you want to see in your team, and even just the rest of the hockey league or the NHL. It doesn't look like we're going to see it. This truly sucks. With the Winter Classic being canceled, that was kind of the one thing going into the lockout. I was thinking, all right, if the Winter Classic exists, then or still is not canceled, there's hope for a season. But now that they've officially canceled the game that would have been in the big house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in front of 100,000 people, I really don't know what's going to happen. But there was a lot of things I wanted to see for this year. A lot of things I'm going to miss. In the words of King's Cast, gotta say, see ya to the season. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. I mean, it started on the owners. The owners were asking for a pretty unreasonable deal in terms of revenue split. I think they're asking for like 57% of the profits. That's pretty unreal and unrealistic and lopsided. I could understand the players rejecting that. But then it goes down to 50-50. Suddenly you think, okay, that's reasonable. I don't know all the details in that deal, but all we know is that the players didn't accept it. They counter-offered, and both sides were counter-offering each other. It's getting awful. And then they're not even negotiating. It's stupid. How can these guys, who are all billionaires and millionaires, just not agree on something in terms of even talk? They're only negotiating like once or twice a week for maybe an hour or two. It's awful. Why are people not talking more and more and more? I'm not going to blame this on Bettman. I know Bettman is a hated commissioner. I know a lot of you guys hate him. I'm not one of them. I mean, I'm not saying I like him, but I don't dislike him to the extent that a lot of you guys do. I mean, Bettman, I know the commissioner gets blamed for this just because he's the commissioner, but there's more to that. The owners, Bettman's not the one asking for the unreasonable deals. Bettman is not the guy who's rejecting and counter-offering everything. He's only speaking on behalf of the 30 owners out there in the NHL. And suddenly the players, this started out with the owners and now it's on the players for not taking the deal that the owners offered. You got to give in to what the owners do. If they give you something that's reasonable, you got to take it. And the players, I think it's Donald Fair, I believe is the guy's name. Awful. It's going to go on Fair, going to go on the players for just not taking this deal. I mean, it seems like the players don't care anyway. They're all playing in Russia, Switzerland. I know Couture is in Geneva, and I think Joe Thornton is in Davos in Switzerland. Some guys are in Sweden. Some guys are all over the place. I've heard Ryan Clough is with the San Francisco Bulls. Anyways. Yeah, everyone's out and overseas. People don't even seem to care about a season except the fans. I mean, this is a blow to obviously everybody out there. And these guys are greedy, whatever the players are asking. I know the owners, I know that they're owners, and I know they don't like losing money, but they asked for an okay deal, and now nobody gave in to them. And they're not going to give in until next year. This is horrible. The NHL is going to lose fans in terms of casual fans. I know diehards like me, you and me, will be staying and loving our teams no matter what, but the casual fans are going to be lost. And economically, I don't know what's going to happen with this lockout. I mean, this is, said before, a major blow to hockey. So many things I want to miss from this year. First off, of course, I'd want to see what Larry Robinson does to the Sharks. I want to see what Zach Parise and Ryan Suter would do in Minnesota, even though I think they're an overrated team that just happens to have better offense. Their offense is still going to suck. I want to see if Michael Therrien can be a real coach again. It's been a while since he was on the Penguins. Would love to see what he can do with a team that was pretty much the third worst team in the league last year. I want to see what Rick Nash looks like if he was on Broadway, along with Marion Gaborik, Brad Richards. What a expensive top line, but I'd love to see Rick Nash on Broadway as a blue shirt. I want to see what the Flyers' high-scoring offense looks like as it continues to be high-scoring, along with the addition of Luke Schenn to their team. I want to see how that trade, with him and the Maple Leafs swapping James Van Riemsdyk and Luke Schenn, want to see how the defense would look, as well as that Russian goalie Ilya Bryzgalov. I'd love to see how he rebounds in the second year. Of course, lastly, I'd want to see the Winter Classic in a 100,000 person stadium. It would have been so cool to see people both from Toronto or Ontario traveling out to Detroit across the Ambassador Bridge. Uh, Still, it's awful. There's not going to be any hockey this year, or it doesn't look like it. It's a blow to pretty much every fan out there, unless you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. It's awful. So lastly, guys, just saying, don't spend your money on the NHL, whatever you're doing, unless you have like gift cards or you're on eBay or you're buying from a garage sale. I would not buy anything NHL related for this time being. It's not worth giving my money. And I'm not, even when the lockout ends, whether it's next year or somehow miraculously this season, I'm not going to be paying anything out of my pocket to the NHL. Guaranteed. The only thing I'll probably be doing is if I see something on a high clearance rack, or I'll be watching games. I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of my team. That's not going to be an issue. But don't be buying gear. Don't spend your money, because they do not need to make more money than these guys are already making. And it's disgusting for every fan out there. I mean, you can say the sport of hockey is not locked out because of you can watch the juniors, you can watch the World Juniors later in December, but I don't care for any of that. I don't have any affiliation with someone like the London Knights or even my country's team. It doesn't matter to me, and I could care less about the team that Logan Couture is playing for out in Geneva, or the team. I might care a little bit for the Worcester Sharks out in the AHL. That might be the only thing I'll care about, but I'm not going to be going to a Stockton Thunder game necessarily, or a San Francisco Bulls game for the ECHL. I don't have any affiliation towards either team, even though I think the Sharks' new team is the San Francisco Bulls. No connection. So, lastly, I'll just end it on a note. Go Worcester! Go Worcester Sharks! See you guys later. I don't know what you guys think. Sucks. No more hockey. No NHL for this year.